Good morning from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're here for the USA Ultimate College Championships. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald with Lindsay Sue, and we are starting the day with UC San Diego versus Michigan. And Lindsay, this is two storied programs, but meeting each other for the first time so far this season. At the beginning of a tournament, what important for teams to really focus in to start correctly?
Yeah, that's right. These are two very well-developed programs, and it's really tough for anyone coming into a big tournament like this to. It's really important for them to come out strong. There can be a lot of pre-tournament jitters that come into this, first game of the day, but hopefully they'll be able to get those out quickly and come out strong.
And we are on a turf field this morning. The temperature, I think, is supposed to be in probably the low 80s or so, but very little cloud cover, also very little wind, which usually affects the game a lot. And that first pull is up. Michigan pulling to UC San Diego. It will land out of bounds, go in at the brick mark. So tapping in, UC San Diego with the huck right off the bat. There's a defender in the deep space. Michigan with their first opportunity to break.
Yeah, it's really good to take advantage of these break opportunities early, especially for a team that's on the underdog in this situation. Hopefully they can put it away.
Michigan first throw is intercepted, so UC San Diego back with the disc. Some great one-on-one handler defense. Still completed. And that is a goal. Elimelech to go. UC San Diego puts on their first score of the day.
Yeah, that was a really smart play by San Diego to employ a zone on the turnover there. And there's not much wind, but it is a bit downwind towards the left side of your screen to try to get the disc back right away. And then they had a short field turnover that let them complete that hold pretty quickly.
And UC San Diego coming in highly ranked in the tournament. They've had 23 wins this season, but they only were able to travel with 18 ladies. What kind of effect does that have on a team throughout a tournament?
Yeah, that's definitely really tough. This is going to be a long tournament, 4 days long. Not too many games per day, but it'll definitely take a toll on your legs. So hopefully they'll be able to put these games away as effectively as they can and not get too tired throughout the course of the tournament.
That's a good point. Efficiency, very crucial to make these points as short as possible. So they will hold with the first score of the day. We're so glad you're tuning in. Be sure to leave a comment if you know any of these players. Shout out to the San Diego parents and fans tuning in at brisk 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. Michigan with the disc on offense, working it up the middle. Soder over to Gannon. Back across, right. And going over the top, incomplete. Kind of seemed like that was sort of what UC San Diego was trying to force.
Yeah, they're throwing a bit of a junk in there, trying to get a quick turnover.
So UCSD back on offense in the vertical stack. And despite a little bit of contact, the pass is completed. Ellis with the disc. Underneath, Simmons. Ellis shooting for the end zone. Avery Jones is not in, but the next pass is in. Leanne Go, her second goal.
UCSD using a vert stack there on the turnover for their break opportunity. Did a great job of using the break side there, swinging the disc across the field and getting a quick, easy left-handed dishy to go in the end zone for a nice break. And that was a upwind break, which again, the wind isn't too strong at the moment, but definitely good for the team to get an upwind break, and hopefully they can break downwind again.
Exactly. So Michigan with another opportunity on offense here early, trying to get their first points on the board. And Lindsay, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself too. We'll have guest color commentators all throughout the tournament. So yourself.
I'm from North Carolina. I'm one of the coaches of UNC Pleiades at this tournament, and I've played club with Phoenix, North Carolina Phoenix, for a few years, and also just finished up playing at U24 on the women's team for the U24 Nationals in January.
So great to have you on.
Happy
Back
to be here.
live on the field. Michigan in the horizontal stack, swinging it, trying to swing it across with this same junk look, and finds an opening.
Great grab there.
So Salia Lee shooting for the end zone, and that was actually Laura Soder, and with the score.
That was a great upwind hold for Michigan. They did a good job of getting the disc moving quickly through that zone and pushing upfield, not letting San Diego's zone look have time to catch back up and stop their momentum.
And with that zone, you work it, but once you can really find that opening through the middle, it's very difficult for defenders to really catch back up and set up.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty top heavy. They're trying to put a lot of pressure on their handlers, make them swing it side to side a lot, but as soon as you get it through the middle, if you can keep moving quickly, you can get through it.
So UC San Diego still up one break. They lead 2-1. It is a game to 15, so half will be at 8. And this is the second time the college championships have been held in Milwaukee. It was here in 2015. And both of the champions from that year are back. The men's title went to UNC, your home state. As well, the women's title went to Stanford, who we'll see on our stream later on.
UCSD and Stanford have had a bit of a rivalry and have gone back and forth between each other these past few years, but see who ends up on top at the end of the tournament.
And despite Kelly Iwamoto slipping, she still managed to get the dump. And second attempt catch is good. There's an open receiver in the end zone. It was a quick answer, fairly quick answer from UCSD. Pin Shuang Chen with the goal.
Chen was wide open in the end zone there. I think Michigan was poaching off under a bit there with the hope that the huck wouldn't go up since it's a bit upwind, but it was a nice look there from Alemarek.
So UCSD taking a 2-goal lead. They have 3. Michigan Flywheel with 1. And for Michigan, it's just a few hour drive from Ann Arbor over to Milwaukee. So versus San Diego with the thousands of miles in flight.
Yeah, you can tell on the sideline here we've got quite a few Michigan fans lined up, really excited to watch them play since it's not too far for them to head over here.
The pull is caught. Grace Denny over. UCSD back in that junk look. That's why you see a lot of those lateral passes right with the disc. Yannick. Gannon on the sideline. And there's some discussion on the field, but it looks like it will be tapped back in. Right. Over the top to Soder. And the swing across is no good, intended for Gannon. So now UCSD within half field, approaching scoring position for another break.
Yeah, I think that was exactly what UCSD intended them to do, get them to swing it from side to side until they have an unfortunate error like that. We'll see if they can complete this break.
Working out of the end zone stack. That one looked a little dicey, but it was completed. Not in. And the dish also no good. Another chance for Michigan, but they're in kind of a tough spot here at that front cone.
Yeah, definitely the downwind back corner is going to be a really tough spot for them to get out of. We'll see how they can handle it.
Defensive look has switched to person.
Great catch there.
And there's the huck, veering left. Great track down from Grace Denny. Gannon dishing. And that shot to the end zone is good. Amy Stoddard with the score.
I think that's a huge hold there for Michigan. It can be really tough to be trapped in that back corner, but they did a great job of moving it up the field, moving quickly, never taking too long with the disc, and shooting it for the end zone.
And you can tell that Michigan understands how important that hold was for them as well. To keep this game close, within one. UCSD 3, Michigan 2. Half at 8.
It was unfortunate that UCSD couldn't put that break away there downwind. Had a short field, but the downwind can be surprisingly difficult to work with. You know, you think it gives you a little extra edge, not quite as difficult to throw, but the disc can really get pushed down and go a little farther than you intended, and it looks like that's what happened with that turnover there. But we'll see if they can manage this upwind hold.
That is a common misconception. A lot of times the downwind throws are more difficult because of all the touch you need to have.
Definitely.
So back on the field, UCSD picking up Iwamoto, the center at the brick. That is when the pull lands out of bounds. You can see there's a marking on the field to denote it. And floating, but really good hands from Avery Jones. Wool. And Chen's shot is incomplete. Now Michigan with a chance to break.
Gonna have to go a full 70 yards here, but they've got the wind behind them, so we'll see how they do.
In the vertical stack, which is a lot of times set up for some kind of deep look. And call on the field. The observers are there more to help facilitate discussion.
Right. Try to let the players talk it out themselves, but help us keep the game moving.
Swing over. Break side backhand is completed. Boyd over to Esposito. Esposito sees an open receiver downfield. Just a little bit out of reach for Marissa Ray, even if she left her feet. I think it was a little far.
A little far, yeah. That's that downwind we were talking about. It's really hard to time that with your receivers.
So UCSD back with the disc. Wool. Cross field.
Great find.
Sees Diaz. Elimelech goes to. UCSD just not holding on to the disc for maybe more than 2 counts. But there's a turn. Another shot, another opportunity for Michigan. Campano. Another floating backhand, but foul called.
Yeah, like you said, they're using this vert stack to try to get some vertical movement down the field. Love to use those hucks with the downwind motion, but they can get a little bit floaty and it can cause some contact in the downfield. We'll see what happens in the result of this play.
So explain the rules of fouls in this kind of receiver type scenario and why the foul, I guess, was caught and then upheld.
Right. So obviously, Ultimate Frisbee is supposed to be a non-contact sport. So when there's non-incidental contact that really affects the receiver's ability to catch the disc, that's when they call a foul. And it looked like there was a bit of an elbow in the back there that caused that foul to be upheld.
So Michigan will keep the disc. They're inside of midfield. There was a pick called coming in on stall 6. 10 is the highest count. Hang on to the disc. Ray keeping it alive. And another great shot. There's Boyd. That's hanging. But what a track down from Tina Hansen.
That was a great grab from Hansen there. Michigan's doing a great job of pushing to get to the end zone. It's a bit of a tough read. Disc's trailing away from her a bit, but she does a great job of tracking it down and going up early to get a hand on it. Really great grab. I think Michigan is really pumped up now, and they're pushing back, and they're ready to say that they're not out of this game yet.
Exactly. They're keeping it interesting, tied at 3s, and they gave up a couple breaks, but then they scored when they needed to as well.
Exactly. Yeah, it can be a bit intimidating for a team like Michigan, who's seeded 5th in this pool, to go up against first game, the first seed in their pool, but they're definitely coming out strong and giving UCSD the run for their money right now.
And even at regionals, they were in a 2-5 deficit and then came back to win over Northwestern 15-11.
That's incredible.
Just a demonstration of grit.
Yeah, it takes some serious mental fortitude to be able to come back like that, and we'll see if they can keep it up throughout this game and see what the outcome will be.
And on the other side of the field, UCSD is certainly very poised, very seasoned. Their scores have been fairly quick points, really capitalizing on that efficiency. What do you expect them to do right now on their offensive point?
I expect to see them, coming out with that, like you said, like that kind of veteran poise. They're going to want to score this point quickly so that they can get back in on defense and try to get that break back.
And timeout called on the field. And with that downwind as well, probably trying to capitalize on it. And observer counting us back in. There are not observers at every tournament, so most of the time halves are a little longer than they should be, timeouts are a little longer. Got to move quickly.
Yeah, this tournament there's actually going to be, every single game is going to be observed, which is great to help keep the games moving along quickly.
And UCSD moving it quickly, really through the middle of the field. And right on the goal line, not in. And a safety pass just to make sure, but that goal, that catch from Elimelech was good. UCSD on the back with the lead.
Yeah, just like we said before, that was really a big point for them to put that away. No turnovers in that, only one possession in that point. They're doing their best to stay on track and efficiently put these points away. I'm sure their coaches are going to have something set up for them here to try to get this upwind break back and advance their lead.
And we have a little bit of cowbell action happening on the sideline here from Michigan. We had heard that they were kind of known for playing the cowbell, but you're just never sure if people are joking around or serious, but in this case, it's true.
They are certainly serious. If you've ever played against Michigan, you can hear that cowbell going off every time. Michigan really is known for their spirit and their excitement on the sideline as well as on the field. They are really excited to be here and really excited to play and like to share that with their teammates.
That pull is floating. It will land out of bounds. And they will take it where it went out of bounds. The observer said it went out of bounds right at midfield. Checking in is Yannick, the 5'6" graduate student from Boulder, Colorado. Always nice to have those extra years of eligibility.
I definitely took advantage of my 5th year, so I love to see it in other places.
And floating near the end zone, but great D there from Elimelech.
That was a good look. It's tough to find those hucks in the zone. She put a good OI edge on it, but Elimelech made a great play for it.
And Elimelech kind of looking to get field position right away. Maybe more, she had an open receiver, but a little more of a punt.
Huck and play D is definitely a method when it comes to these games that are a bit windy. And it worked out for her, seeing as Michigan just had a short field turnover. Hopefully they can convert.
So UCSD coming to pick up Elimelech. And you could see the wind just pushing that throw down.
The wind is picking up a bit. Still not too strong to overcome, but we'll see how that affects the rest of this game.
So Michigan, a little bit of miscommunication over the heads of their receivers. Elimelech over to Ellis. And another nice read, this time from Stacy Tran. And UCSD getting that break they were hoping for.
Elimelech has a great flick huck here. Going in the upwind direction, it's a bit tough to get these off, but she takes those looks when they're available, and the receiver did a great job of making the play, reading it, and coming down with it in the end zone.
So when you're the defender on that, how do you try and defend a pass that seems very well put to the receiver?
It's extremely tough, actually. That throw that is has an outside-in edge on it comes back down into the break space, which is where the defender is not. And so it makes it really difficult for the defender to make a play. You've just got to do your best to track it down and try to get as good of positioning as you can, but sometimes you just can't make the play, and the offense did a great job there.
So with that, UCSD will take a 2-goal lead. They have 5. Michigan Flywheel 3. Half is at 8. And the wind was virtually non-existent to start the game, so has doubled probably to maybe 8 to 10 miles an hour. We'll check the weather forecast in a break. And the pull is caught, allowing Michigan to get a few throws off right away. Stoddard underneath to Yannick. And keeping it alive is Gannon. There's Stoddard, but her continuation throw is no good.
UCSD is putting a lot of pressure behind all of these receivers right now, and I think it's making it difficult for Michigan to get these passes off.
It's a bit of a hospital pass, but Michigan able to bat that away. Stoddard with the shot, and a nice read from Ray. Kind of a similar throw that we saw on the last score, but Ray following it all the way to the ground.
Right, I was just going to say that it's got that same outside-in edge that puts it over top of the defender and makes it, well, maybe not super easy, but a little bit easier for the offender to get a play on it without the defender getting in the way. But that was a really great grab, way to hold on to it, even with contact with the ground.
So the game is within 1, UCSD 5, Flywheel 4.
Interesting that all the scores are happening upwind at this time.
Yes, that is interesting.
We'll see who the first is to get that downwind break back.
That control, just so crucial. We're seeing more and more Michigan fans on this near sideline. And we are so glad you're tuning in. Be sure to follow the conversations on the USA Ultimate social media handles using hashtag USAU D1 Champs. And an injury called on the field. And getting up slowly was Leanne Go, but she will stay on the field. So disc is back in play on the far sideline. Swinging over to Wool. And there's the trash pickup from Leanne Go. And with that continuation to Wool, that's a score. It seemed like Go she saw a pattern so far.
Right. That was a really important, when those big throws go up, it's really important to have other people on your team there to be ready in case, you never know what's going to happen. Elimelech is a great receiver, but it's good to have some backup there, and she did a great job of picking up the trash there and quickly finding a receiver to get that score.
So UCSD will go up to another score in the upwind end zone. And there are 2 divisions here at the college championship, 20 teams in each division for 40 teams total with more than 1,000 athletes. This is also the 50th anniversary of our sport of Ultimate, officially.
Happy birthday, Ultimate.
I know. Happy birthday. We're well past the pie tin days.
That's right. Yeah, it's a huge tournament. The field complex here is really large and really beautiful, actually. It's got some great fields out here in Milwaukee.
So, pull going to the brick mark. Campano over to Yannick.
UCSD sticking with the junk look for now, hoping to stop the quick movement.
And looks like they switched back into a person, and then there was a handler miscommunication. Not sure if Ellis got a hand on that as well.
She's got a big mark, and I think she did. That was a pretty decisive hand block there.
And with that continuation, the score is good.
UCSD managing to get that downwind break.
Take another look, wasting no time at all.
That's a really tough play to make by the receiver there, having to watch your feet, making sure your toes stay in bounds, and still being able to grab that throw to reel in the score. UCSD did a really good job of keeping the disc moving quickly before the defense had time to set up, and that helped them secure that break and go up 7-4.
And Dana Elimelech being a really big part of UCSD's offense, certainly offense so far. She was the Southwest Region second team in 2017 and first team in 2016. So real threat, even from a regional perspective.
Yeah, she's been involved in a lot of UCSD's scores this game so far. She's also their team's Callahan nominee this year.
Yes. Yes, those finalists just coming out right before championship weekend.
I'm sure everyone's excited to see what the results of that will be. And I believe that comes out on Monday.
Yes. So UCSD with a 3-goal lead. They have 7, Michigan 4. With a break, UCSD will take half.
I'm sure UCSD here is really going to be trying to put this score away and make a solid 8-4 halftime. If they can get this upwind break, I think that'll be really good for their morale and for their momentum going into the second half.
And ultimate, really a game of runs. Michigan went on a bit of a run of their own earlier. Now UCSD in theirs. That pull lands inbounds. Previously, we saw Michigan try out the vertical stack. They've kind of gone back and forth, back in the horizontal. What's the benefit of switching to the horizontal here?
Yeah, the horizontal stack is really much more of an effective offense against these zone or junk looks like this when there's a lot of players in the space, whereas the vertical stack does a lot better in the matched up or person defense, and it allows you to take a lot more vertical space and maybe do some more deep looks. But Michigan's doing a good job of keeping possession of the disc here, even within the confines of this zone look from UCSD.
And looking for an opening. That is a score. That was Nicole Kleinsorge.
It's really tough to keep possession and make that many throws in a row without any turnovers, and Michigan did a great job of staying calm and finding the open looks, and that was a really nice over-the-top look into the end zone there. So just secure that hold, and hopefully Michigan, I'm sure, is going to try to get some breaks back before half.
So they will hang on. UCSD will be on offense. So if they score on this offensive possession, then it will be halftime. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We've seen some folks tuning in, watching Flywheel, also on the West Coast with UCSD. Keep those comments coming. There is a Boulder High School alum from Colorado on Flywheel, and in fact 4 Boulder High School alums at Nationals, according to one of our viewers.
I guess that's a big ultimate school.
They play a little bit of Frisbee in Boulder, so we've heard. UCSD, that behind the receiver, but still caught.
Michigan also employing a bit of a zone here, but falling out into person defense now.
Go. Looking for the end zone. And 2 receivers, but that's out of bounds.
It's really tough to do those away passes downwind, especially when you're close to the end zone. It's hard to keep it in bounds.
And it looked like she was trying to do a handler reset, and her receiver slipped and fell. But Michigan immediately looking for the huck, but bounces out of the hands of Trisha Hansen. So tough when you're running full speed. And UCSD will call a timeout. I think a smart timeout here.
Definitely. UCSD does not want to get broken here because that could definitely make them lose their momentum. So they're going to call a timeout here, try to set up a play, give themselves a breather, and efficiently put away this point. But they will have to go almost a full 70 yards, so it's going to be a bit tough.
Possession certainly key knowing also that they brought 18 players to the college championships, and their coaching staff said before the game that they'll probably play about 12.
That's that is really tough. As an ultimate player, I can't imagine having to play 12 for a whole tournament. But you know, they're tough, and I imagine they've been doing something similar all season, and it's worked for them so far. So we'll see how it works out for them for the rest of this tournament.
And chemistry is a big part. I've played in club tournaments where we brought 13 women, and it was brutal, but you leave that tournament, you know everyone's habits.
Exactly. Yeah, knowing your teammates is huge. Knowing where they're going to cut, what types of throws they like to throw is really important for the team chemistry and for the flow on the field. And clearly UCSD has a lot of team chemistry.
So disc will be checked back in play.
Looks like Michigan's setting up a zone here.
You can see too, some of their defenders are playing underneath, closer to the disc, and others are playing over. Trying to, you hear no huck, trying to prevent that deep throw. There it goes. 2-on-1, there's Elimelech. Continuing. Iwamoto to Elimelech.
Clearly they have tons of trust in Elimelech, obviously why they nominated for her for Callahan. She's just involved in so many plays for UC San Diego. She's frequently has the disc, and you know, they love getting it to her deep down the field and in the end zone, and she just made a great play here, getting on the ground to ensure the score to take it to halftime.
Taking it to half, certainly the best of the best of the best we've seen so far here at the USA Ultimate College Championships. So with that score, UC San Diego will take half. They lead Michigan by 3, so still a close game. A lot of Frisbee yet to be played. What do you see from Michigan to really come out strong? We've known that they are able to overcome from a deficit and really come out strong in this second half.
Yeah, I imagine during halftime, coaches are going to have some words of wisdom to say to them, and I'm sure that they will use their trademark Michigan energy, maybe bring out the cowbell to try to amp themselves back up. But they've shown that they can move the disc really quickly and get through those kind of junky, poachy looks from UCSD. But if they can keep that up, they can probably get some momentum enough to get a hold and then get some breaks and keep in this game.
So nearby from UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara has the most wins combined in men's and women's in the college championships.
It's
what?
Fun.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's fun to see when two programs, both men's and women's programs from the same school, are both very successful. There are only a few teams here that I think have brought both their women's and men's team from the same college, but it's interesting to see that.
I do have to give a shout out to my alma mater, University of Texas, Hook'em Horns, who brought both melee and tough qualifying for the first time in a couple years.
Congratulations.
Gotta shout them out.
And same for my
yes,
alma mater.
Exactly.
And, proud of UNC Pleiades and UNC Darkside for both making it here. Yeah.
So there is a lot of exciting ultimate still ahead throughout the tournament. On USAU Ultimate social channels, we have 11 games. This is the first of 11 games live streamed this weekend. There are also games live streamed on UltiWorld. You can check out there. As well, there will be 6 championship bracket games live on ESPNU, the ESPN app, and ESPN3 throughout the weekend. The semis will be live on May 27th, and the finals will be live on May 28th. So much great ultimate ahead, and this is unprecedented access too for the college championships. What does this mean for young players to be able to watch high-level ultimate?
Definitely, it seems like every year we get more and more media coverage, which is just incredible. Being able to see high-level ultimate is not only is it fun for everyone who gets to watch, but it's great for young players, as you said, to get to learn how the game is played and how it's played at a really high level. So it's awesome to get that coverage and hopefully recruit some new young players, and maybe colleges out here want to show off to try to get new recruits to their schools.
Exactly. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have the second half of play. UC San Diego leading Michigan 8-5. You are watching coverage presented by USA Ultimate, brought to you by Fulcrum Media. Just don't know yet, so it'll kind of depend on y'all's schedule.
Yeah.
But if you are at US Open, I think we're going to be at US Open too. Just kind of looking ahead.
Okay. Yeah,
Welcome back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We are at halftime in the first round of pool play at the USA Ultimate College Championships. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald with Lindsay Sue. And Lindsay, the story has really been a game of runs in this first half, but with some key stars that have kind of stood out so far. Who do you think has really made a big impact in this first half?
Yeah, obviously UC San Diego is taking the lead here 8-5, but their players Leanne Go and Dina Elimelech, quite a mouthful there, have really stood out to me. They clearly have a lot of trust from their team and are involved with tons of plays and tons of stats here on the field so far. But not to count out Michigan. They've haven't given up yet. They're definitely rearing to get back into this game, and I'm sure at the end of the half they're going to be ready to go and trying to get some breaks back here.
And we've had very few scores into the downwind end zone as well. What adjustments do you think teams need to make to really try and capitalize on both sides of the field?
Right. That's not usually what you see. You usually see all the scores happening in the downwind end zone. But you know, if teams haven't been playing with too much wind in the season so far, it depends where you are, what kind of conditions there are. The downwind can be really tough. You have to put a lot of touch on your throws in order to make those, especially the away passes, catchable. You know, we got tons of speedy receivers out here, but you got to time those throws just right. So I'm sure these teams are going to be practicing their throws downwind to try to adjust and be able to complete some more of those downwind looks.
And those higher skill throws just can't be underestimated, especially when you get to the championship level here. Also, UC San Diego being very efficient with only having 18 players at the tournament.
Yeah, you know, like you said, that's where the difference between the champions and those who don't quite get there are. You know, those elite level throws able to get that touch downwind and also make those big hucks into the wind as well are really going to make a difference.
So we are really looking forward to this second half of play, first round of pool play here in Milwaukee. The weather app says the wind is about 8 miles an hour or so, so it's enough to make some of an impact. What kind of impact have we even seen from the wind so far today?
Honestly, both teams have really done a good job. There's been no lack of hucks in either direction. I don't think the ability to gain yards with the disc has been affected, but some of the side-to-side looks are definitely being affected. It will change just maybe a few yards on how you get those swings off, and that can honestly be really dangerous to have turnovers on those swing passes because it allows for short field turns for the other team and allows them to get quick conversions on those looks.
That's so true. The swings are so underestimated in the amount of touch and OI that's really needed.
Often they're throws that you practice all the time and you don't really think about them, so sometimes they can just get away from you when there's a little bit of wind there.
So both teams are now taking the field to start their second half of play. Michigan from fellow Midwestern state up in Ann Arbor, UC San Diego, of course in San Diego, where incidentally is where the club championships will be held this coming October and part of Ultimate's 50th anniversary celebration.
That's right. I'm sure people are very happy that it's going to be in such a nice place out in California.
The weather is always nice. So the pull is up to start this second half. Michigan catching it on the run, immediately swinging across. Now to the near sideline. Soder looking for that huck right away. Just not enough float, even though she did have an open receiver.
Yeah, Michigan definitely looks like they're ready to run and gun, get the disc moving quickly. If they can get a little more touch on that throw, they'll definitely be a threat there.
So Elimelech picking up inside. Good handler defense. Iwamoto is able to catch it though, keeps the possession alive.
Michigan's definitely looking to be tight on those resets, try to make it tough for them, but UCSD's got some great hands on their side.
And strike pass. So Ellis went up early, but then on the second attempt caught it. There looked like there was a tie, but the tie goes to the offense.
Well talked out by the players. It can be tough in a high-stakes game like this to let go of the disc in that situation, but it's good spirit.
UCSD within half field, approaching the red zone, shooting towards the end zone, and the observer rule's not in. Iwamoto with that quick cut. That's the first score of the second half.
And that's a break by UCSD. They're coming out strong in this half. You can see UCSD doing a lot of handler movement here. They like to move it quickly and then strike through the break side and get looks down the field. Michigan's doing their best to play tight on those handlers, but UCSD's found really effective offense through this method.
So despite Michigan coming out with a huck play to start the second half, UCSD answers with a break. So they will take a 4-goal lead. They have 9, Michigan 5. It's a game to 15.
Michigan has done a really great job of putting a lot of defensive pressure on those resets and on the handlers, and clearly there have been a couple floaty throws in there that have been 50-50 shots, and UCSD has happened to come down with all of them, but it might just be a matter of time before Michigan gets a couple Ds there.
And Michigan saying that their team was founded in 1989. Well, the women's division started in 1987. So we're here right from the beginning, and my, how it has grown.
Absolutely. Wow, great hand block there from UCSD.
I think that was Ellis. 5'9", and you can tell just a big wingspan. She has it on the front cone. And high release backhand intercepted. Moving it up line, the bobble is still good.
Way to hold on to it there. Almost.
Another shot into that up line, outside in, but didn't maybe quite have enough height on it.
You can definitely see Michigan's trying to push the pace here and get it towards their end zone quickly, but that will lead to turnovers sometimes.
Elimelech picking up UCSD. A receiver going deep right off the bat. Stacy Tran was trying to keep it in bounds, but that veered right. And Chen to pick up, pardon me. Esposito.
An incredible layout there from Elimelech, but it floated just long enough for Michigan receiver to hold on to it.
And Esposito threw the huck right away, kind of true to what you were just talking about, Lindsay, but resulting in a turnover, but seems to be part of the game plan.
Right, yeah. Especially with the time counting down. There's still plenty of time in the game, but they're really looking to try to score quickly so that they can get back in this game and try to get some breaks back.
Elimelech checking in. You see a straight up mark to help prevent the huck. It's the backhand. And Michigan intercepts.
There's a bit of a high stall there. Looks like she was trying to just get field position. Interception.
And right on the line's not in. Zhang resets to Ellis, back to Zhang, and a tip, defensive tip, very crucial block there from Phoebe Hop.
These quick looks from both teams are really allowing for some incredible defensive plays.
Interception back on this side of the field. Now UCSD will work up about 2/3 of the way. Ellis on the far sideline, shooting for the end zone. And that is good. Jessica Freeman with the catch.
Both teams there really looking to go deep on both sides of the disc. UCSD managed to come down with that one, though. It can be really hard when you're in a point that has a lot of turnovers, not to just really want to get the disc in the end zone quickly, and your team can get a little frantic there. But I'm sure this next point they're going to come out with a little more composure and try to put this point away quickly and efficiently without too many turnovers.
That's a good point, because it seemed like Michigan's strategy was to try and score as quickly as possible. Seemed like UCSD then was answering by throwing lots of hucks right away, which may not have been their game plan had
Right.
Michigan not been doing it. So Michigan back on offense. This is a pool play game. So pool play is today, Friday, and then into Saturday, with bracket play starting the last round of the day tomorrow. A great way to spend Memorial Day weekend.
Absolutely, wouldn't have it any other way. Watching Ultimate, playing Ultimate.
And for everyone still at work, it's really sunny and nice out here, but we hope you are enjoying it. We're giving you something fun to do on your Friday. And that pull lands out of bounds. Gannon will check it in for Michigan. And see a 4-person cup from UCSD.
Throwing zones is a pretty common thing for teams with smaller rosters. Not having to chase down each person individually and letting them just take care of certain spaces on the field helps save legs.
And after a few passes, UCSD will pick it up inside of half field. Upline strike completed, to Jones. Ellis swinging over to Limelec. There's Jones. Looked like she was worried she might travel.
Yeah. Here you can see lots of small ball movement from UCSD. Unfortunate turnover there, though.
So Michigan on offense fakes the backhand, instead working it underneath. There's the strike, up line. Gordon catches it. Over to Geisler.
Just too far. Again, Michigan doing a good job of trying to capitalize with quick movement on that turnover before UCSD really had time to clamp down on everyone, but unfortunately, there's a turnover. But UCSD has to work at full 70 yards to get the break.
And immediately with the huck, that's floating, gives virtually everyone the opportunity to come underneath.
But that's a great grab by the UCSD receiver under lots of pressure from the Michigan defense.
So now UCSD inside half field again.
Great around backhand to the break space.
Working it up line, and that is a goal. Sarah Zhang with the reception.
UCSD has shown throughout this game that they've had excellent around backhands, and that's one of the advantages of the vert stack here. Allows players to really get a lot of space into the break side, and they just worked it up the line through the break side and managed to come down with that goal.
So UCSD now with 11, Michigan 5. First game of pool play of the day. And UCSD, the 2nd seed coming into the tournament. Michigan, the 18th seed.
Definitely a tough first matchup for Michigan, and but they've definitely not made it easy for UCSD. They've come out hard and are really putting a lot of defensive pressure on there and not giving up by any means. Definitely both teams seem like they're getting the jitters out a bit. Lots of hucks, but lots of energy as well trying to get into this tournament.
So next up in the next round will be UCSD versus Texas. So that's the 2 seed versus the 7 seed. So how crucial is it for UCSD to have fairly efficient points knowing they have the defending runner-up next game?
Right. Yes, Texas is ranked 7th, but you know they've been there before. They were in the finals last year, lost to Dartmouth, but that's going to be a big game, and it's really important for UCSD to really just put that away quickly, and definitely don't want to tire out their small roster too much. obviously winning the pool is a huge advantage because it allows for much better seeding going into the bracket play. So they're going to want to be fresh going into that game. So they're going to probably try to put away this game against Michigan pretty quickly. But we'll see how Michigan answers.
Exactly. There's still 41 minutes to hard cap. So if Michigan is able to break, really keeping UCSD from getting to 15 is more of a challenge even than the time at this point.
Right.
So we are out of the timeout. Elimelech will pull.
It's a bit scary to catch those downwind pulls, but Michigan's been doing it almost every time.
And that pull had a little bit of zip on it, too. And the swing hangs for a little bit, but Michigan manages to keep possession right with the disc. It's sailing. There's Elimelech. Immediate backhand. The observer will say around this red, right in front of this yellow cone and red hash mark, where the disc went out. They will check back in. UCSD putting, seemed like a bit of a trap. There's the huck. One-on-one in the end zone.
Looks like there's a call on the field. That was a really nice huck into the wind. It was pretty flat. The wind is consistently picking up throughout this game, and but she did a good job of getting a lot of zip on that to get it to where it needed to go. But there's still some conversation. Seems like maybe the Michigan player thought that Elimelech went over her back and pushed her from behind, but we'll see what the result is. Looks like they're going to the observer.
And so the observer is in fact ruling that it's a foul. So Soder will take the disc at the front of the end zone.
In case anyone's wondering, a foul in the end zone won't be considered a score. So they took it out to the front of the end zone, had to tap it back in. Managed to get that upwind score. I think that's Michigan's first score out of halftime.
I think you're right. So much end zone patience here, Lindsay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was really great patience. Able to reset it, keep their calm, and isolate a player in the front of the end zone and get that score put away. Tough with the upwind, and they managed to do it, so I'm sure they're going to be gunning to get a downwind break here.
Stoddard with her second goal so far of the game. So Michigan answering back when they need to. Now a crucial break into what has seemed to be the dreaded downwind end zone.
Yeah, it's there've been lots of hucks downwind. They're really trying to get position downwind, but we just haven't seen too many connections with the wind just pushing these discs a little bit too far for their receivers. But we'll see if they're able to stop them down there and get a short field turnover and maybe get a break here.
Be sure to join our conversation on Twitter, hashtag USAU D1 Champs. Hashtag USAU D1 Champs. And if you're on Instagram and you want to post a picture of you watching the stream, go ahead and use the hashtag too. That's all right.
Love to have people involved in the conversation.
UCSD picking up Iwamoto.
And here's Michigan's opportunity.
Elimelech on the mark. Immediate look to the end zone. And right away, Michigan with the break. That was Phoebe Hopp with the catch.
That was a really great catch under pressure. Obviously, Michigan here still employing that strategy to try to get it moving quickly, push to the end zone. It was a really nice outside-in throw. I think even Elimelech might have gotten a finger on it, but this receiver, through the contact, able to come down with it. I'm sure Michigan is hyped up after that, ready to try to get more breaks.
Michigan sticking to, both teams really, sticking to their game plan, really working that field position. Now, Michigan with a 4-goal deficit. UCSD, on the other hand, needs 4 more goals to win. And this time countdown is actually to soft cap.
To soft cap, okay.
So whenever this time counts down, if the game is still going, whichever team's higher will add 2. But we'll confer with the observers and all of that should it come to it.
Michigan's getting loud on the sideline here. Their fans are clearly excited about that break. See how that affects them, and hopefully they can string a couple more in here.
So Iwamoto walking up to the disc. Elimelech isolated underneath, and that's overthrown. Michigan into the upwind and blocked right away. Another opportunity for UCSD. Iwamoto picking up.
It can be really tough to go back on offense after you've been broken. There can definitely be some jitters, and obviously there was a turnover, but you know, they did a great job of getting the D back, and looks like they're back in form here.
Some nice handler movement from UCSD, really using that strike and fill. Elimelech on the break side. Inside to Jones. And to Simmons. That's a score.
Yeah, I think that was really important for UCSD to put that away to try to stop the momentum of Michigan. It can be, once you get a break, it can really give your team some momentum, but they were able to use their quick handler movement, use that break side, and get that score put away and try to get this game moving.
UCSD putting a stop to the Michigan break train.
Exactly.
Trains have a lot of momentum. They're
Yes.
hard to stop, so you have to stop it early, or you gotta keep that going. So they have 12, Michigan 7. And we've got that cowbell going.
Yeah, Michigan is obviously is a really storied program. They've been around for a long time. In the regular season, I've talked to their coaches and captains. They frequently have to travel upwards of 10 hours to tournaments, and they really have a lot of buy-in from all their players, and a lot of buy-in, a lot of spirit, and they're really invested in this team. I'm sure they're happy to not have to drive quite so far this time for nationals this year. Looks like there's an offsides on the pole.
So explain offsides, Lindsay. The first is a warning.
Yeah, so offsides will happen if the pulling team, it looks like the offsides was on the pulling team, if they cross the end zone line before the disc is released, if any of the players cross the end zone line before the disc is released. And so the first is a warning, and they pull again, but if there is another offsides, if UCSD were to be offsides again, the receiving team would get the disc at half field. But looks like no offsides there and getting the disc moving.
Michigan, 3 handlers back. Tight person D. Upline cut leads to the backhand huck right away. Thought that might come back inbounds,
Right.
but it did not.
Yeah, it was a great look using the break side and having a cutter strike deep there, but yeah, the wind just pushed that out of bounds. Wasn't able to stay up.
So UCSD, their opportunity for another break. There is a call on the field.
Looks like call was retracted.
Ellis checking in. And right bouncing off the hands of Emily Kunzelman.
Michigan letting the disc roll, trying to gain some field position.
They put the huck up right away. UCSD looking for that body positioning on defense.
Yeah, UCSD does a really great job of using their bodies on those deep looks or those hanging passes, and have come down with really a lot of those 50-50 balls. We'll see what happens here.
Another backhand huck.
This time Michigan gets the better of him, gets the D.
Michigan underneath, completed throw. Swinging across. And just a little too excited. Ellis will pick up at half field.
Wrapping on the mark there, trying to force a high stall throw.
And that one-on-one, it's a block from Megan Gordon. UCSD has rested Elimelech. She's not been on. She's played nearly every point so far this game. We're inside 30 minutes to soft cap. There's the backhand huck.
Looks like there was a call on the field, maybe an injury.
Let's take another look.
Looks like the UCSD player might have gotten a hand on it, and
something on the follow through,
yeah,
perhaps. Oh, she's holding her eye, so maybe it was hand or disc to, probably not disc, but maybe hand to the face.
Yeah, those follow throughs are powerful and can definitely be painful. Looks like she's going to take an injury there, but she's walking off on her own, so hopefully she's going to be okay.
That's Madison Tenney for UCSD. So Elimelech will check in as the injury substitution.
Not getting too much rest.
We spoke too soon. But it was a turnover, so there wasn't a foul or anything called from that perspective. So Elimelech will pick up for UCSD. And quick turn. Michigan approaching the red zone.
Gonna have to be patient in this downwind end zone set. They want to put this away.
And looked like a high stall count, but finds a receiver. But then the following throw, no good.
It's tough when you're down. You really want to get those points scored quickly, but it can get a little bit rushed, and that just went out the hands of a receiver for Michigan.
So Elimelech coming to pick up. far sideline. Immediate deep shot. One-on-one.
Really great grab there from
Stacy Tran, yeah. Now UCSD has the score. Tran will get the assist. Zhang with the score.
That's what we were talking about with these UCSD receivers. They do a great job of getting the right positioning, reading the disc, going up early and making those plays. And I believe that was another break for UCSD, make it 7-13.
And really nice give and go movement as well.
Yeah, UCSD really drives their offense through the give and go, through that small ball movement, and then small ball movement to a big huck, and trust their receivers to bring it down. But you can definitely see in their end zone sets, they like to get it moving from the top of the stack through their handlers until they can get it through the break side, just like they did in that score there.
So UCSD 13, Michigan 7. It is a game to 15. There's just about 25 minutes remaining. And the next up, we have an exciting matchup where the defending champions, Carleton, are taking on UMass. And this is actually a rematch of the semifinals last year that was decided in double game point.
That's right, that was a really exciting game. Both very storied programs, and despite the seeding, you never know what's going to happen when you get two kind of rival teams playing each other.
We're very excited to bring that matchup to you. 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 a.m. local time. It will be still on the USA Ultimate social streams, but not on this exact stream that you're watching right now. We'll open up a new event that has the game there, so be sure to tune in, go fill up your water bottle, send a couple emails.
While you're at work.
Exactly. We know how this goes. Raise your hand if you have dual screens. And there's the pull.
Great pull there from Elimelech.
So much that Michigan has to go backfield to get the pull. Michigan able to set up on defense. UCSD able to set up on defense.
Looks like there was a quick junk look from UCSD to slow down their offense, and now they're going into matchup or person defense.
And that disc is on the line. Michigan eyeing the end zone, trying to be patient. They will do a reset and a strike.
That was great patience in the end zone, in that upwind end zone for Michigan. They did looks like there was a call on the field. Might be taken back.
Pick called. Picks, while legal in basketball, are not legal in Ultimate.
Not legal in Ultimate. It can be a bit dangerous when people are running at full speed. If they don't see a person, then they accidentally run into them. So picks are not allowed. Looks like there was a pick on that straight look, and it's going to go back.
So the disc goes back to Christina Nunez, the 4'11" sophomore from Riverview, Michigan. And they are not able to complete the pass there. UCSD will pick up.
Can definitely be frustrating to think you score and then have to take it back. But hopefully Michigan can get big on D here and get the disc back for them.
Elimelech, that flick huck. trailed out of bounds. Parisa Simmons was there, but a little out of reach.
Still got 21 minutes to soft cap. Plenty of time for Michigan to get some more scores in here, but I'm sure UCSD is going to be wanting to put this game away quickly so they can rest up before their next big matchup against Texas.
And incomplete. And there's the block.
Nice field awareness there from Michigan. Able to poach off from the stack and help D there. Get the disc back in their hands. Unfortunate drop there. Turnover gives a UCSD a short field downwind.
So Elimelech sets the stack. And really great fake from both her and the thrower, Wool. But the end zone shot, a little too low.
Just out of her hands. Gives Michigan one more opportunity. Nice deep look there. Way to get the disc moving quickly. Michigan grinding really hard here, trying to get this hold, trying to stay in the game.
And they have an uncharacteristic drop. Have a little bit of jitters, it seems like, from both sides.
Right.
Anxious. Both teams are anxious to score quickly.
That's right.
There's the huck, incomplete. Michigan with another shot. Now inside half field. Eyes on the end zone. And was kind of trailing. Would have been difficult to catch.
Trailing behind her a bit makes it hard to read, especially in the wind where you're not quite sure where it might be going. But
walking up will be Elimelech. And that you might call a punt.
exactly. It's not uncommon to see a lot of teams really looking to just huck it downwind to try to get field position here, even if there's really no one going. They want to get a short field for themselves, and things like that happen where there are unfortunate errors when you're going upwind, and it gives UCSD a short field to work with.
And she looked like she might need to lay out. I don't think she could decide. Simmons wasn't quite sure. Went ahead and had the slide for the score.
Either way, she was able to hold on to it, so that's what matters, I suppose. And UCSD with a really nice backhand break there, and it's great work on the receiver's end to track it down and make sure she held on to it to get that score. Now UCSD is within one to put this game away.
Some of what makes UCSD the best of the best of the best. So UCSD has 14. So if they get a break here, that is game point for them.
Yeah, they're going to have to go upwind here if they want to break to win. And Michigan's got the downwind that try to get the hold and try to keep themselves in this game. With about 16 minutes left until soft cap. Looks like we'll probably finish up before. Michigan, I'm sure, hoping that they get a bunch of breaks in really quickly, though, so they can
exactly
take it to soft.
And we did have an offsides call earlier. When you're on offense, you have to have 1 foot on the line. When you're on defense, you don't, but you cannot cross the line before the disc crossed the line in the pull.
Exactly. And a lot of teams aren't used to playing with observers, and a lot of times they're used to being maybe offsides by a foot or so. And so it's something that teams really have to be cognizant of when they're in observes games like this. But UCSD manages to stay on sides.
And Michigan catching the pull, again, quite impressive each time.
Yeah, catching the pull is kind of an underrated skill. It can be pretty scary to have a disc zipping at you like that, but it gives your team extra time to get set up and get there before the defense does.
The huck was a little bit short, which allowed Jessica Freeman to get that block. So now UCSD on offense, if they score here, that's game.
Got to go upwind 70 yards though, so we'll see. We'll see how they do.
And there's a miscue. Michigan with another chance to get their 8th score here in this second half. Looking up line, and Michigan stays alive. That was Nicole Kleinsorge.
Yeah, that was a really nice throw up the line, downwind, able to find her receiver, who made a really great play running it down. You know, even though the score doesn't quite reflect it, this has felt like a pretty close game. Both teams just not relenting with their pressure on defense and really trying to get these scores, and there've been quite a few long points. Michigan sideline obviously really excited about that hold.
The parents definitely a big rallying force.
Absolutely. They've got a nice setup on the sideline. Looks like most everyone has the Michigan dark jerseys to help support the team.
It's so great though. Parents are obviously supportive of their children, come to a lot of tournaments, but not all are players. So it's really neat when you start to see second generation ultimate players playing college, but it's also neat. There's a member of Texas Tough whose mom comes to everything, and she signed up for Summer League this year in Dallas. She said, you know, I've watched a lot of Ultimate. I think I'm gonna go play too. Let's try it.
You can start at any age. You know?
Exactly.
Anyone can pick it up. But yeah, it is frequent that parents come to support but don't necessarily know how the game works or have never played the game before, but it's good to see them getting into it.
UCSD tapping in. Chen with the disc, looking for that handler reset, and that catches the wind. So here's Michigan with another break opportunity. They know they have to get rid of it quickly. It's still floating, but now intercepted. And foul called. Looks like it's at the throw. And Lindsay, explain the throwing fouls. What must the defender be doing or not doing for it to constitute a foul?
Right, so a foul occurs when the defender hits the offender's hand or the disc while it's still in the offender's hand. So sometimes there can be some confusion of if they hit the disc while it's still in their hand or if it's out of their hand, so that's often why these calls can end up being contested. But looks like the call was retracted or overturned.
So UCSD will pick it up at the site of the interception, now working it up the far sideline. Iwamoto signaling where she would like her receivers to go. They follow suit. Simmons back to Iwamoto. And Wool looking for Elimelech, but it's that end zone.
That downwind end zone needs just a little bit more touch to be able to be tracked down. I'm sure that's something both teams are going to be practicing before their next round starts.
So Flywheel walking it up, Tia Esposito over to Wagner. And that's over top.
Wind's picking up a bit, so it's making these upwind throws a bit difficult.
Elimelech to Wool. Nice cut from Diaz. And Diaz will throw that to Simmons.
That was, again, nice look at the UCSD offense using that handler motion. Again, a great cut. And then continuation for the score to take this game away.
Simmons with her 4th goal of the game. So really great in that continuation space.
Absolutely.
So that is the game. UCSD will defeat Michigan 15-18 in this first round of pool play. Holding seed, essentially, but there is still a lot of ultimate yet to be played throughout the tournament this weekend. There's also a lot left on this live stream.
Absolutely.
Lindsay, what do you think is the most exciting part? As someone who has competed and now is coaching, what is the most exciting part about the college championships?
Wow. I mean, there's tons to be excited about for sure. But one of my favorite things about this is it's such a fleeting opportunity for these players. You only get 4 years. For club, you can chase that national title as much as you want, really. But for college, it's just got to be the right combination of factors that come together. Having a good season, having the right players, having the right coaches, and hopefully come together in this one weekend to try to make it happen.
And we've seen some exciting ultimate so far. Thank you for watching. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald with Lindsay Sue. This is the USAU College Championships here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.